it doesn't make sense to create a product or a process if nobody cares. Whatever you do, it needs to speak to somebody. Somebody needs to want it.
St. Petersburg, Florida is an urban, contemporary city boasting a wide variety of art galleries, museums, and upscale dining options. A short drive over the Pinellas Bayway, and you're greeted by the massive Don Cesar Hotel, which is your welcome to the tourist destination of St. Pete Beach, which hosts millions of visitors to its white sandy beaches each year. In between these two destinations, with contrasting cultures, sits the island of Isla del Sol, home of the Isla del Sol Yacht and Country Club, where Kevin Sunderman has served as their golf course superintendent for nearly 17 years. Born and raised in Ohio and a proud graduate of The Ohio State University, Sunderman is grateful for the skills and values learned while growing up and how they led him to the superintendent profession.
My parents were both born and raised on farms in Northwest Ohio. They've got good work ethics, good values. They know how to treat people. They're faithful, faith in God, just all that wholesome upbringing that some of it, I picked up on some of it. And it's just the values that were instilled in myself and my two older brothers when we were kids, and they never left.
Of the many attributes that Sunderman brings to the workplace each day, the whatever it takes mentality is one he believes sets the tone for his team at Isla del Sol.
Where there's a will, right? Once going back to midwestern roots, and I come from an agricultural background, and it's like, okay, you just get the job done. You get up, go to work, get the job done. So my first jobs were picking rocks out of fields and baling hay and things like that. And once I got old enough, I'd work at the grain elevator, dumping trucks, loading rail cars, things like that. But when you take that background in agriculture and you combine it with a passion for golf, which I had from the time I was about 5, playing putt-putt in the putt-putt course in the parking lot at the Pizza Hut in Norwalk, Ohio. When you combine that passion for golf and a background in agriculture, naturally you get golf course superintendent as a career.
When the uncertainty of 2020 hit, Kevin applied this whatever it takes mentality and took advantage of an opportunity for self-improvement by enrolling in an MBA program, something he never realized would have the impact that it has.
Summer of 2020, I used that as an opportunity to take lemons and make it into lemonade. And it was a point in my life where I said, look, I'm just working myself into the ground. I don't mind working hard, but I want to make sure that everything I'm doing benefits myself and those around me, whether it's at the club or my family. And I looked at an opportunity to maybe gain perspective, gain a better foundation on my understanding. I had no idea how tremendous that experience would be. Working 20 years in the business, in any business, you're going to gain perspective and experiences to help you do your job better. But the range of classes that I took through the MBA, whether it was marketing or entrepreneurship or finance, or we took Six Sigma training. So I had a Six Sigma class, which is all about perfecting your operation. The management and leadership classes. Okay, all of these things were just tremendous, and every one of them, even the entrepreneurship, played into how I do my job, because it doesn't make sense to create a product or a process if nobody cares. Whatever you do, it needs to speak to somebody. Somebody needs to want it for it to be worthwhile, and so it's just been a tremendous experience. I really had no idea the impact it was going to have on my life and my understanding. And by the way, the MBA has a concentration in supply chain management, which has a lot of relevance as we move through 2020, 21, and into 2022. And supply chain isn't simply moving products from point A to point B, but businesses basically have finance, marketing, and supply chain. And I think we all know what marketing is, and we all know what finance is. Finance is running the business aspect and the money aspect of it. Marketing, which is about figuring out what the consumer wants and selling it to the consumer. Supply chain is everything else, from procurement to manufacturing to delivery. And so it's being able to learn about putting processes together and being efficient and organized and doing better in that aspect, which quite honestly, that's golf course management. That's our operation. It's all about operations.
The MBA program didn't just provide Kevin with 3 new letters after his name. It offered new opportunities to turn classroom theory into real-world application, starting with Six Sigma.
It's about how do we get better each and every day, continual improvement. It's that Six Sigma mentality, just always looking at your operation, always looking at your product and how do you get better every day. We've got a habit where my assistants and I, every so often, will go out independently and it's go hole by hole. What would you do to make it better? What would you do differently? Not necessarily just a to-do list of things that need to be done, but what would you do differently? So that's just the process that we take, and we just keep working at it.
Six Sigma is a methodology that was developed to limit mistakes and flaws in the manufacturing process. Easily transferable into everyday business, the concept has been used by all industries to create more consistency in the delivery of various types of goods and services. The methodology is broken down into 5 main principles, which have all been applicable at Isla del Sol. The first principle is to define the problem, goal, or reason the issue needs to be resolved. Kevin and members of the board identified a need to upgrade some of the aging infrastructure at the course.
Because we had some needs on the golf course that we really needed to fulfill. We had aging bunkers. Our bunkers are probably 13, 14 years old in Florida, where you get 40 plus inches of rain a year. You're playing golf through it year round, so you're raking those bunkers, 300 plus times a year. But we had done them in 2006, and we had a number of one-offs that we just repaired in-house over the years. But there's a lot of demand, a lot of expectations to do our bunkers. I said, well, wait, we've got more needs than just bunkers. Not only that, when we redo the bunkers, it was very vanilla. You had a green and you did bunker right, bunker left. They had no shape to them. They're just big oval pits with sand in them. I said, we need to think through this a little bit. We need to make sure that everything we're doing makes sense.
Next, the team needed to measure the current state of the club as a baseline for upcoming improvements. The club had been operating on a modest budget while meeting member expectations, but with an influx of new members with experience at several other high-end clubs, Kevin and the rest of the leadership team felt the need to raise the bar.
It was the vision of, hey, the golf course needs to be more than simply a bunker here, a bunker there, digging them out, putting in new drainage and new sand. Let's take a look at the golf course. Let's see how we can make it better. Let's see how these bunkers work with where we're going to put new tees. Everything needs to be thought through and work together.
The next principle is to analyze. Using surveys and member demographic information, the club validated its need for improvements while keeping this data top of mind.
No sense building a very penal golf course for a membership that has handicaps that are in the high teens and into the 20s. Let's create something that's interesting both in terms of strategy and aesthetics, but you can still play it.
The next principle is to improve. When it came time to take action, the team considered their time frame and available resources and devised a plan to use some outside contractors, but to tackle the majority of the projects in-house.
And we came up with this concept of, okay, Brian would provide he'd do all the rough shaping, so he's the one that would come in and just deconstruct the old features, build all the new features, and then we would come in. We would do new irrigation greens loops. We would do all the drainage. Well, we'd strip all the sod. We'd lay all the new sod. We'd do all the finish grading. But Brian's building the features. Rich is here making sure it's done in his vision, and we're putting all the pieces together. It's interesting from our point of view because obviously we're maintaining a golf course. We're still open for play during this time. But it worked out very well.
The final principle is to control. And as the work on the golf course progressed, the need to control or maintain the recent improvements fell on Kevin's department. When it comes to maintaining a certain level of expectations for quality work on the course, the culture that Kevin has created at Isla del Sol means that expectations and accountability are not only managed from the top down.
We help each other out, and we're responsible, and we don't go and slack off, and those who do don't fit in very well. And I don't typically have to do a lot of discipline anymore, because those who come here that just think they're going to get a paycheck and slack off and not be part of the team, they realize they don't fit, and they move up the road, or the guys kind of let them know, hey, you're not fitting in. You either need to fall in line, or this isn't going to be the place for you.
A well thought out and executed plan has led to improved golf facilities at Isla del Sol, but sometimes a happy accident can also lead to change and advancement as well.
Our Bermuda rough had started getting leggy. The length between the inner nodes was getting longer and longer, and so the rough just wasn't quite as dense as what we wanted. So summertime practice, we got to Memorial Day, and we scalped all the rough down, and my plan was to maintain it at fairway height until about the middle of August, raise the height of cut back up to rough height. And the whole idea was just to create tighter inner nodes, better density. And Fred Curtis, our director of golf, Fred's been here since the mid-'80s. I mean, he's been here a long time. But Fred came to me, he says, Kev, the members love the golf course, the way it plays, the way it looks. Do you think we could maintain it at fairway height, all the time? I said, yeah, absolutely we can. I said, but the board's got to agree to it because it costs a lot more. There's a cost to maintain fairway acreage over rough, and I need to know that they're going to put that in the budget. So they agreed. So now we maintain, it's about 55 to 60 acres that's mowed at fairway height. In terms of agronomic program, it's about 45 acres in terms of, when we're out spraying fairways, we end up spraying about 45 acres. And it's become who we are as a design and as a layout. It's kind of interesting because there's not a lot of places like it. Most places are going to have rough.
Having guided the club through one successful transformation already, the membership and leadership team have asked Kevin to once again be a part of more improvements at Isla del Sol. This time, it's about the entire operation, and Sunderman is appreciative of the opportunity.
I appreciate the opportunity to be involved because the grounds is only one portion of the club. And I want the club to be successful, and if I have a bigger role in all the other capital expenditures that need to go on, then I can adjust my plan and programming to fit the needs of the club, as opposed to just battling for whatever it is that I feel like we need to do in golf. That way we're successful all the way around.
On a man-made island on the Gulf Coast of Florida, equipped with new skills and a world of experience, Sunderman still finds himself going back to his Midwest roots when describing his core principles.
Yeah, I think whatever it takes is probably a good title. You may add a subtext to that says drive and determination will get anything done.